What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. Per usual, Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's largest aggregator of all things affiliate marketing. Whether you're a newbie just getting started or an industry veteran who's been around for decades, be sure to check out OfferVault.com to be the most successful internet marketer you can be. We also have Mr. Paper Call Adam Young, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and our special guest today, Jessy Melendez, CPC Traffic Manager at Rocahead Network, as well as a senior marketing analyst for a financial institution. That's a tongue twister. What's up, Jessy? How you doing today?
Hi, doing good. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I personally admire you and the podcast. I'm a huge fan.
When
So
you
I'm
say
very
you're talking about me specifically, right?
Just Josh.
Yeah.
No one
Okay.
likes me. I'm toxic.
She said
so,
you and the podcast. So I just,
Mr. Paper Call, should I say? No?
yeah,
Oh,
Mr. Paper Call.
that's not Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison's out. That's a common that's a common thread. So you just reminded us before we started recording. I completely forgot, but you are the sister of Jenny Gonzalez, friend of the pod. CEO and founder of Rocahead, I believe. So my first question that I threw in here was, what's it like working with our friend Jenny Gonzalez? But let's just twist that to, what's it like being the sister of Jenny Gonzalez?
Yeah, working in the family business, it has been good. We manage very good the thing that we don't get or took personal. We don't mix up things. We could be having the worst day at work, like work related, and we can be tough to each other. And then at the 5 minutes later, we are just laughing on Instagram, just on stupid posts. Like we know how to separate things, and I think that it's great. That it's what keep us motivated, and it's good to be around family when you're working and generating revenue or making business. It's super fun. I love it. Also, she's very supportive in terms of learning. I'm very much like a newbie. Just have like 3 years since I started in the industry. I was trying to get Jenny to teach me before, but she was like, no, you do your part, you do your research, and I'm not going to teach you anything. Once you're ready, just please come to me, and we'll make it happen. But you need to do by yourself. Like, I'm not going to be
Well,
teaching you.
that brings up a really
I
good
took
question. I was just going to ask you, like, to piggyback off of that, because so many people that watch this show are probably thinking the same thing right now. How did you approach doing your own research and kind of getting
yeah.
yourself to where you needed to be? Because I think a lot of people watching this are probably trying to figure out the same thing.
Yeah, I was very sure early in my early stages as professional that my path was on marketing, for sure. And then I went to college. I went to have formal education on marketing principles and sales. And but it's different when it comes to online marketing. It's a totally different road that you need to take. There is a lot of resources on internet that you can use to learn, and that's what she wanted me to do. Like it's a different it's a different road. It's not where you go to the university and you learn. It's a different path. It's self-learning. you have to invest time and but she told me like everything is out there. It's just one click away. You have zero excuse. If you want to learn, you will learn by yourself.
It's
It's not
true.
something that I'm gonna
I think this industry is an industry where you have to like get your hands dirty, um, and figure it out and actually do stuff. Like, I've had friends that I know from, my non-business life, and they're like, "Hey, like, teach me this so I can make money." And I'm like, I don't have like this isn't like a math class where in one semester I can teach you how to like it just I can show you things, but you got to do it. Like you got to build yourself. And people and honestly, it's not just in online advertising, it's in most worlds. Most businesses where there's a lot of money to be made, people forget that you usually have to work extremely hard to get that money. It doesn't matter if we're running traffic as affiliates or we're building a software company or whatever it may be. Shit takes time and effort. And if you're not willing to
yeah.
put it in, good luck. But
I mean, Harrison,
that's just what it is.
did you have anyone who kind of showed you the ropes, or did you really teach everything to yourself from the very beginning?
So no, not exact. Like well, the first dollars I made on the internet, I just kind of figured I threw shit at the wall until something stuck. Um, and that, was kind of the way it worked. That being said, I remember about 2 years in, I had someone that was just like, "Hey, like this is what I'm doing," and they just showed me their Google like ads account, and I was like 14 years old. And, they were like, you can try to run this. Like, you can do exactly what I'm doing. I don't care. Here's my keywords. Here's everything. They just like gave me some stuff. And actually, it was kind of a humbling experience because I was like, great, I'm going to be rich. Oh my God. And I set up the campaign. I stole, well, not stole, they gave it to me. They're like, so I used the landing page. I used my ads were like a little bit different and I didn't make any money. I like lost money. And that is kind of exactly the point of what I just said. Like, you just get handed it. Like maybe let's say even hypothetically that he gave me that campaign and I made a bunch of money instantly. I think I also had an affiliate manager give me a campaign like that for ringtones. Like, here's everything, just go do it. And like I made no money. But even if I had made money, then let's say 6 months later there's another campaign and I try to run it and I've essentially developed no skills in terms of like buying traffic and optimizing ad spend. It's almost worse. Like, yeah, I made some money on that ringtone campaign, but now I have this like lead gen whatever campaign. I can't make money and it should be easy. I have no competition. So it kind of goes back to that. Like you got to like figure it out. Um, and that's kind of what I did. I mean, just threw shit at the wall.
But at that point, you had some knowledge involved, or just
Well,
that's where
I mean,
first.
I got started when I was like 13. Yeah, 13. And I had, been on computers since I was like 5 years old. And
Mm,
the only real experience that I had had making money on the internet before I started like being involved in online advertising or affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it, was like I sold shit on eBay.
yeah.
I met people in the jewelry business and they gave me diamonds on credit. So they would like I sold diamonds and coins on eBay until I got banned because eBay asked me for receipts and I didn't buy the items yet. They were like kind of fronting me them and so I couldn't provide receipts and they banned me. And I wasn't 18. That also was a problem.
Dude, you were
But
doing
now,
some crazy shit when you were not 18. Like that's
yeah. And
insane, dude.
so my dad to this day is banned from eBay because of me. Like he needed something just like a couple of years ago, and like I bought it for him, and he was like, "I'll pay you back." I was like, "It's cool, Dad. I kind of owe you this one because you've been banned from eBay since I was 13 years old because of me." So I like I said, I kind of knew how it worked, and I think I've always kind of had a sense for like. Even as a kid, like I would see a business and be like, how does your business work? Like I remember being a kid going to Mexico and we did the jet skis on the beach and like this was like the guy like we're in like Cabo San Lucas and the guy was sitting there and you could tell the one guy that was the boss, he was sitting there like drinking a beer, telling that guy to go and like get the jet ski and like you go fill that one up and here put the life vest on this kid, but he was just sitting drinking his beer. And so I was waiting and I was like, hey, like how does this work? Like what do these jet skis cost? And he's like, oh, they're like 10 grand each. And then I'm like, okay. And like, how much, like, how do you run them? He's like, we get 6 to 8 hours a day at least, and we charge $100 an hour. And our cost for gas is like $10. He like told me the whole business. Like I remember going to my dad and like telling him we should move to Mexico and make a jet ski business. Da, 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 da. And so I've always kind of had an understanding of like the economics of a business, like even as a 10-year-old, like what's the margin? How much is this guy doing? Okay, he has 4 jet skis. He's doing $700 a day per jet ski, call it. So, that's $2,800 a day, probably more on haul. He's doing, he has almost, he's over $1 million a year business with jet skis on the beach in Cabo. Well, he's just like chilling. I was like, nice.
It's a rough
So,
life. Yeah.
I guess I didn't know how to make ads on Google or whatever, but I had a sense of like business. And then I had sold stuff in person sometimes. Like as a kid, I sold water bottles and sodas on the beach, like yelling, walking in the beach with a cooler, dragging it like water. And then I also sold little like wristband things that I made. So I've done sales. So I guess that and just knowing kind of a little bit about business, I just figured shit out. But yeah.
Yeah, and having the sense of curiosity and how things work, and that
That's the
it's,
most important thing.
yeah, because I heard people that says, I want to be like you. I want to like have time to be with my kids. I want to just work from home. I just don't know want to go 8 to 5 and anywhere. But it's figure it out. Like find your way through that. Like, it's not that somebody want to carry you and put you in a position that where your life is going to be that way. You have
So,
to fight for it.
Jesse,
Yeah.
as the CPC Traffic Manager at Rocahead, I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about like CPC traffic versus performance, how everything kind of differs and where you really focus your efforts and energy to, excel with CPC traffic and just in this industry in general.
Yeah. We had a big surprise last year negotiating CPC with some of our advertisers. We start testing this different model to, kind of leverage the traffic and find a way for those who cannot compete on the with those EPC or with those API models. There's some of them that will simply not get into the traffic cascade. So we start testing these new campaigns with certain clients, and they start doing really good. Like we realized that it was a good way to make money and not just treat CPC just like, okay, well, we have some traffic left. We're gonna sell it as a CPC, but now it's like a new side of the company that it's really making big impact with some of our customers, and I think and we have like a lot of information on these clicks, so we can optimize better, and we can really provide recommendation or where these clicks goes, and gonna produce some more revenue.
So
And
I
yeah.
have a question for you. So you have essentially been giving affiliates CPC payouts. Is that correct? Instead of a CPA, so they're getting paid on clicks, just to confirm.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sorry, the internet was
Rather than
spotty there. So,
CPA.
I guess if I'm a brand new affiliate and I want to test this, I tell you, hey, I'm running this offer. I'll test your CPC. I guess what's a typical test look like? Because it'd be very easy for an affiliate to just send bad traffic and get paid per click. So how do you protect your advertisers? And if I'm a brand new affiliate or it's a brand new traffic source, do you set like a small cap, or like how do you do it so that everyone's kind of you know
Yeah, we usually start with a small cap or just let's say 7-day test and then see how it performs. It's it will not result on a big, lose for either part. So I think after that, and after we're able to measure the quality of the clips and the quality of the campaigns, we decide if we want to continue optimizing sources, maybe geos or maybe devices. We now have the optimized by device, and it has worked very good lately.
So one thing we
yeah,
talk about
that's
on the show a lot is data and how to best, leverage it, utilize it, use it to your success. So, from your point of view and the point of view of Rocahead, as well as your experience outside of Rocahead, how do you kind of approach data when it comes to collecting it as well as, leveraging it to provide you with the best, chance of finding success in the space?
Well, we have a very good system to track. For example, we can track leads, views, links, conversions, timing on those conversions. We can see languages on those conversions. And there's a lot of information that we can really gather to find those strategies that could make the campaign works or not. I think that it's when data plays a huge role on that. And I think our advertisers and we as a network company have asynchrony sharing information that it allows us to being on the same page and do good business. I think the software that we use, the sources that they implement, we kind of combine those and we have a good partnership in terms of data and results.
Harrison, I was going to ask you kind of the same question because I know Ringba has a big emphasis on data. So, kind of the same question to you from a Ringba perspective. When you're as big as Ringba is, how does the data game kind of change and how do you guys kind of leverage it to your benefit?
I mean, well, our use case is different, right? We're selling software. We don't have, an advertiser where we're working on quality, but we're looking at metrics like, client lifetime and things like that. Just also like customer support metrics are really important to us, and data that we look at a lot. Because if we're not doing something right, we want to fix it immediately. Um, and so, I used to like when I get it, like I ordered something from a restaurant the other day, and like I got like an email like rate your order. I'm like, I never do that. But now that I see like the inner workings of a software business, I'm like, maybe I should tell them that I was missing my chopsticks or whatever. Um,
Nah, you're so basically what I took away from that is that you're a big fan of chopsticks. All right, we've lost Harrison. He's busy doing
sorry, I have
something
a
else.
no, sorry,
Just
I got
totally,
distracted. I guess I'm
totally
dealing with
spaced
a little
out.
issue.
All right, yeah, yeah.
I
We'll
got
go
a
back.
jet issue. Hold on a
We'll.
second.
Oh God. All right, we'll go back to Jessy here. Jessy, tell me a little bit about self-optimizing traffic flows. I know that's a topic you kind of threw out to me before we started recording today. Like, what does that mean to you, and how do you best set up, a self-optimizing traffic flow?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we start optimizing those campaigns after we find out that they're really making an impact and having good results after the campaign started, and start optimizing like by device, by if we wanna do just Android users, just Windows users for these campaigns. That's where most of the optimizations came on CPC. In the corporate and finance world, it's more expanded when it comes to have a well segmented list, or personalizations on user behavior. Like it's more expanded on the corporate side, but on CPC is basically that what sources do we need to remove to optimize a campaign, or add, or whitelisting sources, or blocking sources, and that's the type of optimizations that we perform there.
I want to change gears a little bit and move to email marketing. You know, to quote your sister Jenny, she said, Jessy is a mailer at heart. Email marketing is what she does. So tell us a little bit about how you approach email marketing, what kind of tips and tricks you always utilize to give your campaigns the most, you know, success and CTR, impressions, all that good stuff.
And
Yeah.
how many emails you sending every day?
How many emails do we send?
Yeah.
I divide myself on the online marketing side and the corporate finance side. And in terms of email marketing campaigns for finance, it's very limited what we can send out to our customers in terms of advertising. We have to be careful because we want to be read when we really have something good to say. It's not like, and when we have a email list quality, well segmented and engaged email list, we want to send information tailored for a specific audience that it will resonate with them. Like we don't want to send an offer for like creating a new business, a small business account. It's not even thinking about open a small business. So it's not about quantity, but it's about the quality of the list, the data that we have. Now with AI, there's a bunch of opportunity to get to know how our customers are segmented. With Salesforce Customers 360 tool, it gave us the opportunity to kind of create those audience and kind of utilize that information to tailor better campaigns. If the goal is to open a bunch of new to bank deposits, or we want to leverage an increase on house lending, mortgage, like it's everything, it's on data. Like if we don't have this information from our customers, we're not gonna be able to send these offers out. So that's kind of what we need to do.
So you
Also,
mentioned
the regulatory compliance on banking, it's very hard in terms of marketing. So it's we need to be adhering to compliance and providing clear offers or clear call to actions, so we are not get in that type of compliance
Yeah,
regulation.
you mentioned AI and its place in the industry right now. What kind of ways are you guys incorporating it into, Rocahead Network or your work with financial institutions that some of our listeners might be able to take advantage of themselves?
Yeah, I think AI, it's great right now to perform those type of work loads. Like they're difficult, they're time consuming. It's making translations, maybe copywriting, maybe so work that needs to be done, and people can use their emotional intelligence to work on more creative outputs. So I think it's a good to have the AI system involved on every creative campaign, but also not leaving the human side behind. Like it's important that we continue to create and in a human emotional way, and not just rely on AI to create um, value for the company. I think it's very good content for, I don't know, there's a lot of good things about it, but we still need to have clear intention, and then we need to keep working on the human side of it. That's what I think.
Something else that you mentioned to me that you're super passionate about and interested in is the psychology of marketing itself. I think this is something Harrison and Adam definitely will share with you in terms of, getting in the weeds and figuring out why certain things work with certain audiences. So what kind of, findings have you come across, or what are some, theories or concepts that have really resonated with you behind like why certain people think and react the way they do in regards to certain marketing tactics?
Yeah. When I was marketing school, I remember that once you deliver your work, your sketch or your project, there were things that could happen to you. It's to get this work back, and somebody, it's the worst is not they're gonna say like your colors are not matching the season, or your lines are not good, or your message is not clear. I think the worst thing is that somebody came to you and say, okay, this is totally boring. This Nobody wants to read this, or nobody wants to digest this. So I think it's important for marketers to understand that I see it this way. Like we have two brains. We have the upper brain that we can actually see, it's physical there. And that's where the logical side of things happen. We have logical, we have rational thinking, we have cognitive imagines, but then we have a second brain that is the lower brain that it goes with the digestive system, and it's the one that provides like intuition, like emotions. It's the one that you get to feel like, oh, this smells reminds me or my childhood, or this sound in particular makes me feel good or make me feel anxious, and that's important to have these two brains combined in order to create good things and long-lasting relationships with customer clients, Like if you have one and not combined with another, it has to be certain thing of partnership between these two. If you are always rational, I think you will be predictable. And if you are predictable, it will be easy to hack, like from your how can I say, like your companies, they will be one step ahead of you. Like you're so predictable in the way you do things that it's not gonna be hard to.
Adam and Harrison, when you guys were working as affiliates, did you guys kind of get into the psychology of marketing, or did you like split test and do so many different creatives that like you were like, forget that, I'm just
Well,
going to
that's
try
kind of what we're split
everything?
testing for, right? We're split testing to see what wins for the customers, for our potential customers. So maybe I'm not looking at it like in a psychology perspective, but I mean, is it going to convert yet more or less? Yes or no? I mean, that it is psychology at the end of the day, right? Are we getting people to buy or are we not getting people to buy?
I mean, I think Harrison underplaying his intuition here. I've done a lot of ads
Sure.
with Harrison, and I don't think he thinks in this specific channel. I think he thinks intuitively in another channel, but he's absolutely looking for the psychological markers that are causing conversions when he's designing campaigns and looking at creatives. I don't think I would take that credit away from him. I think he just has a talent for doing it naturally as opposed to sitting down and thinking about it in an analytical way, which is obviously how I think about it in an analytical way. And Josh, in my book, I wrote a chapter called The Psychology of Ads, where I actually break down part of the process for looking at how to design a creative to like split test in this nature. And I think, I think Jessy is right. I try and be as unpredictable as possible in my day to day. And I think that I surprise people on a regular basis. And the reason for that is anytime you change anything up, anytime you make a different decision that's not predictable, it allows you to get a different outcome. You know how people say sometimes that doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity? Well, if you do the same thing over and over again, you're likely to get a consistent result. But if you mix it up and turn left unexpectedly, it gives you the opportunity to have a different result. Better, worse, who knows? But thinking that way in ad creative and then understanding how people react to ad creative is a really powerful way to figure out what's going to resonate with a specific audience, a specific demographic group, a specific country or language or interest or need or whatever it is. And to Jesse's point, the larger the group of people, the easier it is to predict an outcome. Whereas the smaller a group of people is, or even an individual, it's much harder to predict an outcome. They can change very rapidly, and your outcomes may change very rapidly. So I think if you structure this and think about it and do a lot of reading, like I've read so many books on this stuff at this point, that I see it intuitively, but in a logical way, you can really get some powerful outcomes. I don't think that most marketers are really thinking about their audiences and what their psychological state is or anything like that. But that's how you build an ad creative that people won't understand. Like they'll see it, they'll see why it works, but it's much harder to replicate it if you're thinking about every single word and every single cut and every single emotion that someone feels and how they react to it. And then you're split testing all these things. It's really hard to replicate. And that's really the type of campaign that you want to run, but it's a ton of work.
Yeah, that's where AI comes and produce all this content like in bulk. So
Jessy, the last thing I wanted to ask you about is something we talk about on the show a lot, which is work-life balance, right? I know a couple people who don't really think it's a real thing, but I'm curious to get your take on it. I'm comfortable saying this because you told me it was okay to talk about, but like as a single mom with two kids, like how do you kind of balance the work, finding that success and passion in your work life with, you know, being a mom of 2 kids at the same time.
You make the kids write ads.
Yes. I don't know. It's like I read the other day that something that says, work like if you don't have kids and raise your kids like if you don't work. So like, I don't know, it's managing the time. Lately I've been working on time boxing method, that it's like setting up short periods of time for each task, and that allows me to do a lot of things throughout the day. And I'm always trying to focus on what is my priority during the day, and still have a life, because it's not possible that just work the whole day and everything's gonna okay. Even if you are on your phone the whole day checking emails and stuff, you some time to have a life too.
Well, I want to say thank you for coming on the Affiliate Marketing Show, Jessy. We really appreciate you joining us today. For myself, Josh from OfferVault, Mr. Papercall Adam Young, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and our special guest Jessy Melendez, CPC Traffic Manager at Rocahead Network and Senior Marketing Analyst for a financial institution. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time.